Nigeria, the country with the problems that are bigger than them. Well, Nigeria unfortunately has countless problems. If we start counting the problems, we won't live here at all. I don't think Nigeria has found it funny since they got their independence, and that is why in this video, I will examine the three fundamental dimensions of this paradox and cause. All will be discussed based on Nigeria itself. You should know that without understanding this interconnected crisis, we cannot grasp the true depth of Nigeria's development challenges. So, let's get right into it right away. There are a lot of Nigeria's economic indicators that tells us a bedtime story of gradual recovery and resilience that is happening in Nigeria. The World Bank's latest Nigeria Development Update reports that the economy expanded by 3.9% year-on-year in the first half of 2025, up from 3.5% in the same period of 2024. The external position appears strong too, with foreign reserves exceeding $42 billion and the current account surplus rising in GDP. Even public debt is expected to decline for the first time in over a decade, which actually sounds fishy for so many Nigerians that are hearing this from my mouth. Another thing that I should point out for you lies in the devastating impact on inflation, particularly food inflation in the Nigeria family. While economies celebrate GDP growth, the World Bank reports that poor households who spend up to 70% of their income on food have seen the cost of basic food basket rise fivefold between 2019 and 2024. This means that between 2019 to 2024, the way food increased, it was alarming and sorrowful. This isn't about economic statistics, it's about emergency that determines whether family eat one meal or two, whether children go to school or work, and whether illnesses are treated or endured. Food inflation has become what the World Bank senior economist for Nigeria, Samia Mata, describes as the biggest tax on the poor. It is a visible situation that extracts everything from those who have almost nothing at all. And according to the World Bank, approximately 139 million Nigerians are swimming in poverty in this very 2025 we are looking at. The extreme poverty rate, which is measured at $2 per day, actually increased from 31% in 2019 to 38.9% in 2023, proving that economic growth has been unequal, but it has also been declining year after year without showing any mercy at all to the fellow Nigerians that are living in Nigeria itself. This means that in a country with the largest oil reserves in Africa, nearly 4 out of every 10 citizens still cannot meet their basic needs. The situation is even like a horror movie when using the lower middle income poverty rate at just $2. But on a serious note, Nigeria should not be in this mess at all. So let me put it this way for you. Despite all their natural resources and advantages and reform efforts, Nigeria is expected to continue to underperform for the next 2 decades, which is condemning another generation to another upcoming poverty. Nigeria isn't just growing, it is exploding demographically with a population expansion so rapid that it overwhelms any modest economic gains. With an estimated 237.5 million people in 2025, Nigeria has established itself as the 6th most populous nation on earth. Projections suggest the population will reach 262 million by 2030, 312 million by 2040, and almost an unimaginable 401 million by 2050. If such number reaches that kind of amount by just 2030 and the economy is still this bad, then Nigeria will jump into a fire they can't quench no matter what they do. And again, if Nigeria manages to reach that estimated population by 2050, the country will be the third most populous country globally, only behind India and China. Ordinarily, a growing population represents economic potential, like more workers, more consumers, and more investors. But this is just an imagination in Nigeria. Nigeria's demographic profile transforms this potential into what analysts grimly call a time bomb, where you are expanding in population but nothing to show forth in reality. Their youth especially has been let down day after day. Their category represents a catastrophic failure of economic absorption. With each year, Nigeria's economy has created millions of new jobs just to maintain that already unacceptable high levels of unemployment. But even the creation is still not helping because the poverty, everything is still bad. The current unemployment stands at a high rate that makes the citizens question how the country is still standing to this day. Youth unemployment in particular is a walking disaster at 40%, and this is not just statistics, but it shows that those teenagers that will become youth will still suffer the same fate as these current youths. The healthcare system is a typical example of a big collapse of public services under demographic pressure. Nigeria's health system already struggles to serve its current population, with fewer than 4 doctors per 10,000 people, which is far below the WHO recommended threshold of 10 per 10,000 people. But the Nigeria system must buckle their belts and be prepared to serve additional 160 million people by 2050. We know that the doctors are zooming out of Nigeria like flies, but something needs to convince the upcoming doctors to stay in Nigeria and make it better. If not, nothing is going to ever change. Perhaps no aspect of Nigeria's paradox is more perplexing than the fact that its immense oil wealth has become, in the words of The Guardian, more of a curse than a blessing. Nigeria is the largest oil producer in Africa and the 6th largest global exporter, with oil accounting for over half of its exports and approximately 90% of its foreign exchange earnings. The country holds the 10th largest proven oil reserves in the world, alongside vast natural gas deposits and over 44 other mineral types. With your brain calculator alone, you would think that all should be well with Nigeria, as it is with Norway and Saudi Arabia. Instead, Nigeria represents a textbook example of what academics call the resource curse, which means where countries with abundant natural resources experience lower economic growth, worse development outcomes, and higher poverty rates than their resource-poor counterparts. As The Guardian notes, the weak institution of state and poor governance in managing the vast resources have led to the country to fail to realize its full potential. The mechanisms of this cause are well understood. Instead of fueling effective development that will shift the country, that same resource wealth will lead to corruption, economic destruction, and conflict. Nigeria exemplifies all 3 of these destructive pathways. The visible manifestation of this oil curse is the corruption and mismanagement of petrol revenues. According to global anti-corruption organization Transparency International, corruption represents an abuse of entrusted power for personal or private gain. But in Nigeria, this abuse has become a daily breakfast we are seeing every blessed day. Former World Bank President James D. Hofferson famously described corruption as a cancer whose consequences include redirecting resources from the poor to the wealthy, inflating business costs, discouraging foreign direct investment, draining public expenditure, misdirecting aid, and undermining equitable national development. In Nigeria, this isn't about the theory I just mentioned, it's the daily reality of missing billions meant for schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. On this earth, an estimated $2 trillion is thrown away annually through corruption, funds that could have eradicated poverty, educate kids, cure malaria, and bridge the global infrastructure gap. In Nigeria, despite earning hundreds of billions of dollars from oil alone since their independence, the country has little to show for, even till this day as I record this video for you. The resource wealth has created what economists call a rentier state, one that earns most of its revenue from rent paid by foreign entities rather than taxing its own people. This creates a dynamic where governments are accountable to oil companies and global markets rather than to their own fellow people. The human cost of this cause is perhaps the most visible in the Niger Delta, where oil was first discovered in commercial quantities. Rather than becoming a region of prosperity, the Niger Delta has become a symbol of environmental degradation and conflict. Oil spills have contaminated fishing waters, gas flaring has poisoned the air, and communities that should have been among Africa's wealthiest is being thrown into poverty. This has naturally fueled resentment and conflict as local groups fight for control over resource wealth and compensation for environmental damage. The resource cost completes a vicious cycle. Wealth that should bring development instead brings destruction, and resources that should unify the country instead becomes the source of conflict and corruption. For the ordinary Nigerian, this paradox is not an academic concept, but it is a daily reality we are facing. It is the educated graduate who cannot find work, the farmer who cannot compete with food imports, the mother who cannot afford a basic food basket despite working multiple jobs, and the community that lives in poverty despite having oil wealth.